I love talking with real estate professionals and mortgage lenders specifically who work as a married couple. It's a unique perspective, and some people in the outside world may say that's not possible. But in this conversation with Rick and Jennifer, they talk about how their experiences throughout life kind of brought them together as a married couple, but also as professionals, and how they're really able to impact our local market as lenders. If you're interested in learning how to be a better partner and a great lender, check out this conversation with Rick Sedberry and Jennifer Sedberry.
All right, welcome to the show. We have the Sedberry mortgage team here today. Very excited to have you guys on. We've been doing business together for a long time.
Yes.
And I'm just excited to get to tell your story more, because just in the 3 minutes we've sat here kind of prepping, we've learned things about you guys that I didn't know about.
Are we doing business or marriage counseling?
A little bit of both.
Which one are
A
you
little
doing?
bit.
What are you doing?
Today we're going to focus on business, but Lauren has a specialty as marriage counseling if you want to do that outside of the video camera. But it is an impressive thing that two human beings who also work together, live together, and are married to each other. I did it with Stephanie for a while. She's retired, or she quit, whatever you want to say.
She retired to us. She quit to him.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's a difficult thing, but I mean, you've been in the business for a long time. So I want to hear your story about how you got into the business and why you've stayed in it for so long.
Sure. So I call it my past life. I used to be in the hotel business.
Did not know that.
Yeah, started out as a front desk clerk, worked my way up to general manager, worked for corporate bankers, which basically we would buy a hotel, flip it, turn a profit, sell it, and move on. So I lived in St. Louis for 6 months. I lived in Daytona.
Exciting.
And it was because I was single. We hadn't even met yet. Lived on property, so no bills. The problem is hotels never close, ever. And so the last hotel I was at was in Bossier City.
Oh,
which
nice.
there's nothing
But
to
was this before the boardwalk was built?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So
Yeah.
there's definitely
Nothing to do. Nothing to do.
Yeah.
And I was burned out, and a friend of mine owned a mortgage company, and he was like, come do mortgages. And I was like, sure. I had a nice bit of savings built up, and so
How old were you at this point?
single life. This was 99.
How old were you?
Oh, I can't do that math in my head. I
Yeah,
don't
you were
know.
young, though.
I
Like
was
in your
young.
20s?
Yeah.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. This is my 26th year in mortgages,
Wow.
so a long time.
Yeah.
So started out in the broker world. Now, when I got into it, rates were at 10%. So starved for the first couple years. And then this is when I always say, I know my wife married me for love and not money, because I was broke. But I always like to tell a funny story is, do y'all know how we met? Okay.
I'm ready.
AOL.
Nice.
AOL dial-up.
AOL dial-up.
Love it.
The real first
You
that
got
met on the
mail.
internet.
Y'all
Yeah.
are
You got mail.
So you used to be able to search like, hey, show me single females that are online right now. And I sent her a, instant message, hey. And
You
so-
cute.
You couldn't even
yeah.
see pictures back then.
No.
Like, there's no pictures.
But it was truly godsend, because then come to find out, we worked across the street from each other.
Wow.
And I lived a block from her house.
Wow.
And we had never met.
Wow. That's incredible.
So,
Crazy
And what were
story.
you doing at the time?
I was a dental assistant working in Kenner, and I did that for about 10 years, worked for my cousin there, and he was right in the building directly across the street.
That's incredible.
Well, no.
Yeah.
Love it.
So this is before the mortgage. This is at the time you
this
were in
is
the
right when I
mortgage.
switched
Gotcha.
to mortgages.
Yeah, this is when he started.
And there's something about that, what you said a second ago, that I want to talk about. A lot of people feel like they want to get into a business and they don't understand how much time it actually takes to get there. You said you were poor for years.
Yeah.
And I think that, there's a mentality in the real estate world that you're going to either get into the mortgage business game, you're going to become the title company, you're going to start a title company, you're going to become a real estate agent or an investor, and you're going to end up, within a year being Robert Kiyosaki or the number one producer. You know what I'm saying? And like the mindset around how much time it takes to learn and make mistakes and build relationships. I mean, talk about that. Like, at what point did you feel like you would kind of hit your stride?
It really was until we transitioned into Hammond, because originally we were on the South Shore, and I actually got a job at Hancock Bank, and moved to Hammond. Of course, I'm like, where is Hammond? And then I get to the town that I'm like, oh, this is country. Growing up on the South Shore was very country. Yeah. In fact, my friend Stacy, who's a realtor, told me I had to say this. So basically, I got into my car and found out when Broker Tour was, and literally just started driving around and introducing myself to all the agents.
Yeah.
And she's like, you had this reputation. Like, who is this weirdo bald guy? And he's showing up. He's not a realtor. What's he doing going on
So
tour?
you were bald then too?
Yeah, it's been a
Okay,
long
good
time
enough,
since
good
I've had
enough.
hair. And so that's how I started meeting agents, and then just slowly started building. And, the rest is kind of history. And so did that for a long time. And then she transitioned from a dental assistant to actually
Stay-at-home mom.
Stay-at-home mom for a little while. Then we had this thing called a market crash. And that was...
So you picked it up a little bit, and then you had the cycle.
We had the cycle. The crash came. None of us were expecting it. And mortgage people used to get paid differently than we do now. So you used to get paid on how much money you made on the loan. So, you hear say, oh, well, if you charge 2 points and you make money off of those 2 points. And now, nope, they said, can't do that anymore. So now we're paid off the total dollar amount. It doesn't matter what you're charging the customer, that type of thing. Yeah. So right around the time the market crash happened, subprime, which I prided myself. I never did a lot of what they call that subprime stuff. It's not anything I did a lot of, but the market went kaplooey. And at the time we had 2 young kids, and you start wondering, okay, how we're gonna keep the bills paid, and the house was behind, and then someone actually showed up to pick up the car one day. Luckily, we talked them out of it.
Wow.
And then if things weren't crazy enough, I'll let her share.
I was working as I got a job as a teacher assistant at that time because we needed to go back to work to make some money. And there was these 2 kids that were going to be picked up by DCFS. And I had taught one of them the year before, and I was teaching the sibling that year. No, I had taught both of them, okay? So they were both out of my class. So, but one was the same age as one of our kids, and one was the year younger than the other one. So everybody at school's in a panic. What are we going to do? These kids are going to get picked up. We can't let them get picked up. So everybody's like, who can take them? I'm like, well, I'm going to ask Rick if I can take them. And I'm like, I'm going to take them without even asking Rick. So I went home and told him all this story about these kids. They're about to be picked up, and we don't know where they're going to go. And we had somebody to keep them temporarily, but they need somewhere to go permanently. And he's like, oh, that's so sad. And I said, yeah, so can I bring them home tomorrow?
Yeah, so we weren't very smart. We're like, okay, one of the lowest points in the real estate mortgage crisis mode, not knowing how we're going to pay bills, and she wants to bring home 2 kids. And if you don't know it, we didn't make $1.
Nope.
Because we weren't certified.
Yeah, we had to get certified while we had them, but by the time we got certified, they were going back. They were going back to their parents, and so we never made $1 off them. So we did it all. And thankfully, we had the community support that helped us out.
Yeah, we
a
would
lot.
get just random money left in our mailbox.
Wow.
How beautiful. That's such a faith-filled story.
It is.
Right?
Yeah.
Just
It
having
is.
faith that doing the right thing comes back.
Yes.
Yeah. And I mean, obviously we got through that cycle, right?
Yes.
I mean, and it's funny because
It always does.
every couple of years there's going to be a downturn, and there's going to be a spike in the market, and you've seen. I mean, you've been in the business for 20 years, and so 25 now. So you're in the middle of some sort of a cycle if you got in at that hard time too. So I think it's something to talk about, but being able to sustain yourself through that and have the reputation of Stacey Levin, who we all respect, and she sees you around town, and the agent's starting to hear about this guy. There has to be a standard in which you're meeting on a consistent basis, right? And I think it speaks to the group you're with Movement Mortgage, but also the way that y'all operate your business. There's a standard in which Rick and Jennifer meet every single time. People can rely on that. Yeah. How long did it take you to develop that, and what is it taking for you to sustain that over the years?
It's an ongoing process. I mean, you have to constantly be working on it. You have to, like I said, humanize it. In fact, I didn't get a chance to mention this morning at the Keller Williams meeting, but we got a report. Cotality is a data and analysis group, and they actually did a report on Gen Z home buyers, and 71% of them that they interviewed said, regardless of technology and AI, they still want to deal with a human. And I mean, buying a house is the largest transaction that you're going to make in your lifetime, and people need to understand that. And so, yes, we embrace technology, and yes, we can make it as high tech, but it's still high touch.
Sure.
You can't just say, "Yeah, you're approved." No, you got to take the time to sit down with them and explain to them.
The world still moves on connection.
Yes, 100%.
Can't have connection without a relationship.
I think Anthony said it really well this morning at the meeting. He said you have to embrace AI, but it's the 20-60-20 rule.
Yes.
It's the 20% of you having to input the information in the system and be that point of contact. There's 60% of letting the technology do the heavy lifting of it, and then the 20% of the bringing the business home and making sure that you add that human element back into it that really allows you to continue to grow. And I've been to Movement Mortgage's headquarters. I know y'all are forward-thinking people, and it's an incredible place to work. And I know y'all are thinking about that. But here in this town, and where we live, you have to have that human element.
Yes.
And really, it's the care and empathy whenever you're dealing with somebody, right? And the story you're talking about, where you're fostering kids and you're dealing with people in the community, being a part of the community and the people around it, it allows you to have that empathy that y'all show and the concern of like trying to get a deal done for somebody, right? Right. The system and the standard we operate in allows us to get deals closed that are easy, and it also allows the difficult ones to stand out so that we can address those head on and not have to be bogged into the day to day of the ones that should just be flowing through the system seamlessly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And look, like we deal with difficult transactions. I mean, we're in St. Tammany, you're in Tangipahoa Parish, right?
Every day.
Yeah, and just the nature of we have a rural areas in St. Tammany, but in Tangipahoa you have a lot of those,
Yes.
and a lot of the people in our communities that need individual one-on-one, like solve this problem for me services, and I think that mentality is the difference, right? Your problem-solving mentality, pulling on the right people, trusting everybody on the team, and making, because we have great title companies and great real estate agents. I mean, we all work together to get deals done, and I think that's the exciting part. So the mindset around problem solving is, did y'all identify that?
Yes.
Yeah, and how do you perceive that mindset of problem solving?
A lot of times we have to sit down and break it down into individual parts to understand what to tackle it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not just as simply as a yes or a no.
Yeah.
And I do strive myself. I never tell a client no. I may say not right now.
Yeah.
Let's game plan and let's figure out what you need to do to get where you can get the house.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not the right time.
Sure, it's so funny. You can, when you do business with people that you enjoy doing business with, and you feel that there's common reasons why, generally speaking, and we always say there's never no. There's always a yes. You just might not like
Just
the
how.
yes.
Right. It's
So
how,
yeah, it's similar to what you're saying, right? Like
Yes.
we all have that same drive and same mentality towards business, even if we don't talk about it.
Desire to meet needs.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what it is.
And that's what allows you
Don't
to
shy away
sustain
from the
long term.
problem.
You're going to ebb and flow with the market, but you won't have a worse year than the market, and you're going to take advantage of a good year because the standard and the way that we do business. And I've always respected that about you guys. So.